Hey guys, this is Brian Rosner coming to you guys from a place in Santa Fe, and I just have a lot of passion right now. I wanted to talk to you guys about my early days of mold avoidance and what's changed. If you guys haven't watched my videos already to understand why I'm doing mold avoidance and how important I think it is, you can just check out my YouTube channel, Lyme Disease Publisher, and kind of get the scoop on that. You can also read a little bit more of my story at limebook.com/extreme mold avoidance. There's hyphens in between there, limebook.com/extreme -mold -avoidance. This video is a little more advanced, so you may need to check on my introductory information. I also have a new book coming out about mold avoidance, which will have a little more of the basics, but I just have kind of had an epiphany today. I feel like God has brought me a really good mold avoidance mentor. His name is Steve, and I wasn't ready to have this mentor early on in my mold avoidance journey because I was still clinging on to a conventional way of life, and I was sort of doing mold avoidance half-assed, and that still meant I was doing a lot of mold avoidance, because even half-assed mold avoidance is extreme for most of you guys. But I feel like God brought me this mentor and has been showing me a lot of things. And, early on in mold avoidance, we were still trying to stay by civilization, live in cities, Las Vegas, San Diego, Tucson. We didn't really understand that mold avoidance really means civilization avoidance. And what I've been realizing now is when you seek out health and put health first, and really put health first. And for us, that means even more extreme avoidance than what we had been doing. When you do that, when you really put health first, everything else just falls into place and becomes easier and makes sense because you feel good. Your mind is clear, your body is clear, you're strong, you're capable, you can get work done, you can figure out life. If you don't do that, then all of the conveniences of normal civilization don't really help you as much as you think they do. And I'll give you guys some examples. Early on in mold avoidance, we were looking for a clear place to live, and I went up to this place about 45 minutes out of a city, and the guy where I was going to park my RV, this is my RV, by the way, that's my truck right there, and this is our RV, my family of 5. We've been living in this RV doing mold avoidance for 14 months now. I haven't slept in a regular building for 14 months. I sleep in the RV and sometimes the back of the truck. I've got a camper shell on there. This is actually our 3rd RV because we've traded in the first couple RVs for mold problems. Again, find that in another video. But if you don't, so I was visiting this guy up north of Reno, and he lived off the grid, and he had a generator that they turned on once a day, and they didn't have normal electricity, and they didn't have normal sewer. And you think about utilities, water, sewer, trash, power. Our connection to these utilities really often keeps us in bad places where we can't heal. And I just couldn't imagine living off the grid. It just seemed crazy to me. How do you do it with a family? But we were at a very pristine area a couple weeks ago, and I just did a huge amount of healing, and we were off the grid, and I stopped showering, and I didn't wash my clothing, and I was taking bottled water showers, and we didn't have power, and my body just started dumping toxins like a waterfall was coming out of me, and I just got this healing breakthrough that I've never had before. And when that happens, all of this crap that you worry about, all these utilities, and I want to be close to a city, and I need to be close to stores, and I want to take a shower with toxic soap. My mentor was telling me that he doesn't even take a shower sometimes for 2 or 3 weeks, and he sometimes doesn't wash his clothing, and sometimes he showers only in water and no soap. And he has a hole in his property where he sometimes dumps his RV wastewater. And most people who live in civilization, we think, how could anyone live like that? And that's what I thought even the first year of mold avoidance. But I finally realize now that when you put health first, it's worth it. And the other problems that you have go away. And so when we were staying off the grid at this one really pristine area, and these toxins were dumping out of me, and I wasn't even taking a shower in the local water because the water felt toxic to me. I was showering in bottled water. Sometimes I wasn't even showering in water. You get these health breakthroughs and you go, oh my gosh, it's actually worth it. I want to build my life around being healthy. I don't care about utilities anymore. So now, you know, we're looking at buying land that's off the grid, and we have a generator that we carry around in our car. And yeah, it sucks to carry a generator in your car. There's some gas fumes, but when you put health first, it doesn't matter. Us chronically ill people, we've been sick for so long, we don't even know what it feels like to be healthy. And when we finally get these healing breakthroughs, even if it's cold, even if, you know, eventually my sleeping bags became toxic and I'm sleeping in this little RV. Again, there's my truck and my RV. And I'm sleeping on this little cotton blanket from Walmart, and I'm in dirty clothes, and I'm thinking this is horrible. But then you realize it's not horrible, because if you start feeling better and you become more like a normal person and you get your health back and you put health first. My friend Steve, my mentor, this guy who I'm really grateful that God brought into my life, he says we put health first. It doesn't matter what. And I go, well, what do you mean you put health first? Well, when you're still chronically sick, you don't get it. You think that the sacrifices you're making to put health first aren't worth it because you don't know what health is. But once you become healthy, at least healthy enough to glimpse what it feels like to be healthy, then all you care about is health. You don't care about showers. You don't care about laundry. You don't care about utilities. You don't care about taking a shower in bottled water. You know, your body starts to restart and detox, and you can't even believe the changes that happen in your body. And then you understand, I don't care about these other things. I only care about health. When I am healthy, I can work, I can function, I can get up early in the morning, I can love my family, I can manage my finances, I can survive the cold weather. I mean, right now, you know, this is the first time I've had a jacket on. Normally in 30-degree weather, I wear a t-shirt. I've been wearing a t-shirt and shorts almost all winter because I've been putting health first. So I really hit a new level of wanting to put health first and not, you know, care about other things. Now, there does have to be a middle ground. My family isn't as sick as me. They don't need to be as extreme as I do. So there's also this challenge of how do you live with your family and put health first? Well, what we tried to do initially was I got them an apartment that I couldn't be in because I wasn't putting health first. And I lived in my RV 20 minutes away. It was a total disaster. They started getting sicker because they are a little bit sensitive. And I started getting sicker because I was too close to civilization. It was half-ass. And you can't live apart from your family, guys. I'm sorry. People who do that, I just don't get it. You know, I'm never doing that again. I was apart from them for 6 months. And, but so we have to find the middle ground now. Where can I live and put health first? And where can they live and also be a little bit more involved in society? So one of the conclusions that I've come to, and one of the things that we're going to do, is I want to buy off-the-grid property close to civilization, but far enough away that it's non-toxic and feels good. And what that means is, first of all, buying off-the-grid property is cheap. Nobody wants to buy off-the-grid property, you guys. Anybody can do it. There's a county that I'm looking at right now that actually has this camping permit where you can buy off-the-grid property. You can live on it for 6 months of the year camping. Nobody wants to buy it, so it's cheap land. You can buy it for $30,000 or $40,000. And they're not going to hassle you for living in an RV for 6 months out of the year. You say, well, I don't want to live for 6 months out of the year because I'm going to miss people. I want to live there a whole year. Sorry, guys, put health first. We'll live there for 6 months out of the year. We'll follow the laws, and then we'll go somewhere else for the other 6 months out of the year. It's about putting health first. And once, you know, if we buy off the grid property that's 20 or 30 minutes from town, I can be on the property hiking, detoxing. By the way, when you start feeling better, I can run 4 miles now, 5 miles, and I feel great. And I have no fatigue, no crash, nothing. And all these toxins come out of me while I'm running. And then I sleep great. I sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. I'm not tired the next day. When you start putting health first, this wasn't my idea, by the way. I give this credit to this mentor of mine. When you start putting health first, the other shit doesn't matter. Excuse my French, but I'm using that word because it's important. The other stuff doesn't matter. You start putting health first. And I'm not saying I'm cured. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm hitting some breakthroughs now where I'm realizing that this stuff really works, but it doesn't work unless you put health first. And when you do start to put health first, these amazing things start to happen. So anyway, guys, I'm coming to you from an area in Santa Fe. We hit Santa Fe And there was just this breakthrough in the air that, I mean, you can see the mountains from miles away. They look like you could reach out and touch them. The air is so clear. It's not clear in every village and every city and by all the buildings. It's not perfect. And but we didn't want to come to Santa Fe. I don't really like it here, but we're putting health first. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I actually like it here because I feel good, because my health matters. When you've been chronically ill so long, you don't even realize that if you put health first, things get better, because you haven't experienced better, and so you don't want to be better. I mean, you do want to be better, but you don't think that it's worth the sacrifice because you don't know what better is. Once you actually know, wow, I can actually get better, there is such a thing as being better, then you start to put health first, and you'll understand why it matters. So that's just sort of my message to you. Like my big breakthrough today was just kind of you know, understanding that I don't mind making sacrifices and living off the grid, and you know, not having utilities and not having a stable community and being in cities that I don't really necessarily care about. You start, you know, my friend and my mentor, Steve, has said, you make movements for health. Movements for health. What does that mean? It means, where am I going to go today? What am I going to do today? Is it going to make me healthy? And, you know, here, I'll share one other interesting things with you guys. You know, before I was putting health first and doing this kind of stuff, I didn't feel different no matter what I ate. I mean, yeah, sure, a little bit. Oh, I feel a little better if I eat organic. But once your body restarts and your body says, hell no, get these toxins out of me. See, you guys, your body is asleep. It doesn't know how to get rid of toxins anymore because you've put an 800-pound elephant on your back. And it takes a lot to get that 800-pound elephant on your back. Once you get it off your back, you start to feel the things that are hurting you. Your body wakes up. Imagine if you had an 800-pound elephant on your back, and you've had it on your back for 20 years. Do you think you're going to be fighting that elephant? No. Your body is toast. But if you can reduce the weight of the elephant to 30 pounds, and all of a sudden your body wakes up, now you feel the 30 pounds, and your body says, wow, I can get rid of this elephant. So foods, now I can only eat organic foods now, guys. I used to say, why bother with organic foods, you know? I feel the difference, and I'm not just talking about feeling it in a little way, I feel it in a big way. When I start eating non-organic foods, my body doesn't just say, oh, I don't like that. My body says, get that away from me right now. You see, guys, my body is starting to wake up. It's been asleep for 2 decades or longer. Another interesting thing, fermented foods. A lot of people can't eat fermented foods or they don't feel it. The problem with fermented foods is if you still have the 800-pound elephant on your back, your body is going to say, I can't fight. When you eat the fermented foods, it starts a fight in your body. It starts healing your microbiome. Excuse me. There's something like some pollen or something over here. Your body's going to say, I can't fight. But when your body restarts and turns back on, now you eat the fermented foods and you go, oh my gosh, there's a battle taking place in my body. There's a battle in my body, and I need to eat these fermented foods, and it actually does something important to me. And there's a switch that gets turned on, and it's not a small switch. It's a huge switch. It's epic. It's monumental. All of a sudden, all you care about is health and doing these things. And you know, of course I have to make sacrifices for my family, and I want my kids to have a good life. And that's why I'm not going to live out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this campsite that we're at right now is only 20 minutes away from Santa Fe, and they can go into town. We can do homeschool. They can meet up with homeschool groups. You know, I mean, it's definitely about a compromise. It's a lot easier to do this if you're alone. If I was alone, I would just go live somewhere in a healthy, pristine place for 5 years, but I'm not alone. So there is this layer of doing this with the family, which hopefully I can help you guys understand, because doing it with the family is a whole different kind of a thing. There's one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys. Well, I'll just keep talking, maybe it'll come back to me. So you put health first in your movements for health, your body restarts and it becomes worth it. It's just, you know, a massive amount of epiphany. So how do you guys get this started? How do you get this process started? Well, like I said, you go look at my introductory materials. I highly recommend reading a book called The Beginner's Guide to Mold Avoidance by Eric Johnson and Lisa Petterson, who are also great mentors of mine, and I wouldn't have figured any of this stuff out without them. In that book, you'll learn about doing something called a mold avoidance sabbatical. A mold avoidance sabbatical is where you leave toxic civilization behind for a couple of weeks, and you go to a pristine location and you try to see if you can restart your body. Now, I know you guys have jobs and houses and stuff. That's why you only do it for a couple weeks. Then when you come back to civilization, if you become unmasked and your body says, oh, hell no, we're not doing this anymore, then you know you are the kind of person that will benefit from extreme changes in your lifestyle because you have woken up your body from this sleep, from this 800-pound elephant on your back. Just a warning, you guys, you need to take some precautions before you do a mold avoidance sabbatical, because if you come back to your house and it's moldy and you can't tolerate it, which is what happened to me, you need to have a plan in place. So this isn't instructions. I'm not, you know, you got to do a little more digging. I'm just giving you the bird's eye view. So anyway, guys, I hope this has been an inspirational video. Yeah, I just had this breakthrough in the last few days, last few weeks of following the advice of Steve, who's, you know, been a mentor to me, because I wasn't really putting health first. I was still attached to these other things. Like when we went out and bought our generator, you know, a lot of people were like, you can't buy a generator, you can't do it, how are you gonna store it, how are you gonna transport it, oh, it's such a pain, oh, you know. But then I was like, you know what, my body wanted the generator. My body decided to buy a generator, I didn't. My body wanted to be off the grid. And a little gasoline fumes, who cares? The reason you guys are sensitive to gasoline fumes is because the 800-pound elephant is still on your back. Now, I'm not sensitive to fumes, perfume, diesel. It doesn't matter anymore. The body starts to wake up. You guys realize there are people who work around gas and fumes their whole lives? I'm not saying it's healthy. This stuff is toxic and give you cancer. Sure, I'm not arguing that you guys should drink diesel. But what I'm saying is that when you put health first, you can heal, and you can use the tools that help you heal. I'm not saying everybody needs to live off the grid. Some people don't need to be as extreme as me. If you only have a 300-pound elephant on your back, you may not need to live off the grid. I'm not advocating everybody needs to live off the grid. Maybe you just need to move out of your house down the street. I don't know. But I'm saying that for me, when I made the decision to put health first and make movements toward health and make that my priority, things just started to change for me. And it started with baby steps. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. We got rid of our home and all of our possessions early on. So it wasn't really baby steps, but you know, we sold our house. We don't have a mortgage. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't afford to travel in an RV. Guess what, you guys? I don't pay rent anywhere. I don't have a mortgage. People say, oh, I can't do that. I need to keep my mom's grand piano. Well, guess what, guys? We got rid of everything we own. And I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not the expert, just sharing my story. We got rid of everything we own. We don't have a mortgage. We don't pay rent. We don't own anything. I own 2 pair of pants and a few shirts from Walmart. That's it, guys. I don't have nice jackets. This jacket is $20 from Walmart. I've thrown a bunch of these away. Why have I thrown them away? Because I'm making movements for health, because that's my priority. So you can afford this lifestyle. I know you have a job. I know you need to work. I'm not going to get into all the details. You know, I'm not in charge of the universe. I can't make people have money when they don't have money. But a lot of people, you know, my RV was only $20,000. You know, can you find $20,000? Well, a lot of you guys get a new iPhone every year. A lot of you guys buy new shirts. A lot of you guys have furniture you could sell off to pay for an RV. You know, a lot of you guys could buy, you know, cancel your internet, or well, not your internet, you need internet, but cancel your TV, your direct TV. You know, a lot of you guys could, there's stuff you can do, you know, sell your car and buy an RV, whatever you got to do. I've started making movements toward health in a big way, and it's made all the difference. And I don't care if it's cold anymore, and I don't care if I have to live off the grid. It's just a different mindset. And I know there's going to be speed bumps. I'm not going to be cured tomorrow. I've had to do a lot of ozone. I've done 25 10-pass ozone treatments. You guys can find my videos and information. ozone for me has been miraculous. But I don't think the ozone has been the main thing. I think the reason the ozone has been miraculous is because it has peeled layers off of my body. It's helped reduce the weight of the 800-pound elephant so my body can wake up and take over and do this stuff on its own. I have a new book coming out. I hope you guys will check it out. It's going to be called Lyme Disease Supercharge, and basically how to supercharge your Lyme disease treatment. You know, I've still had to do some Lyme disease treatment. I've still had to do ozone. I've still had to do bee venom. Mold avoidance and basically civilization avoidance and letting my body breathe and heal and detox has been the Lyme disease supercharge that has allowed Lyme disease to heal. Just a little disclaimer, guys, I'm not a doctor. I am not the leading expert on this topic. My mentor, Steve, and Lisa and Eric know much more about this than I do. I would say what I am good at is taking the information from the people who are really brilliant and a lot smarter than me, sharing my own experiences, and putting that information into a format that you guys can understand and digest. When I wrote my book, Lyme Disease and Rife Machines, which, by the way, some of you guys are like, Brian, I thought you were healed. Yeah, I was. I was in remission for 15 years from Lyme disease because of the books that I've written and the treatments. But the weight on my back, the 800-pound elephant, was growing. And one day, the weight snapped, and I was bedridden again. So I don't think that my other books are invalid. I worked 4 jobs, you guys, for years after I wrote those books. They got me to be very healthy, you know, but it was a superficial level of health. I was just suppressing the 800-pound gorilla. I wasn't fully dealing with it. So, you know, I think my talent in all of this, if I have any, which is debatable, is I'm not the expert. I am the communicator. I am trying to put this information in an accessible form so that you guys can do your own research and go read from the experts and understand why it's important. I sometimes think that the experts are so smart that they don't, they're way smarter than me. I think I can bridge the gap. I'm kind of dumb. So what I can do is I can understand the experts just well enough to know why this stuff is important, and then I could put it in a language that everybody can understand. At least that's what I think. If you guys disagree with me and you think this is a waste of your time, don't listen to my videos. I don't mind. You know, I'm not doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this because I feel like it's my purpose to share this right now. You know, why did God take me on this journey? Why did he let me learn this? Well, I think it's because it's my purpose to share it. I do recommend you check out Lisa Petterson and Eric Johnson's work, The Beginner's Guide to Mold Avoidance, another book, Eric on Avoidance, and Back from the Edge. Those are 3 books by those 2 people. And then check out my book, Lyme Disease Supercharge. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I really hope that one day you experience what it's like to have the 800-pound gorilla off your back, even just for a week. Because when you experience that, you will understand why it's worth it to pursue movements of health. I don't take credit for that quote. All right, you guys, have a good day.